Welcome back to the channel. My name's Ivy and I'm so excited to tell you where we're going next. Hello friends, welcome back. It's been a while since we have done any kind of adventures. Now we are really excited because this is a trip that I booked on December 23rd, 2023 on a whim, not knowing if it would happen at all. So we are embarking on a 10-night trip to Tokyo, Japan, and I am so excited. I'm traveling with my fiance, AJ. This is our first trip to Japan together. I have been to Japan before. I went as an exchange student when I was in the 8th grade. I'm so excited to go back because there were so many things then that I just didn't appreciate. A lot of things, I struggled a lot with the language barrier. I didn't really have the coping skills at that age. So really excited to explore the city, see new things, and of course, we're gonna go to Disney. So let me tell you how all of this happened. One of the things that I like to do is I often check Google Flights. I will also often check Delta's mileage redemption to see kind of what deals are going on, see how much it costs to fly somewhere, really for no reason other than I just like to look at it. Most of the time, it's to look and go, oh, that would be a really good deal, or oh, that's really expensive. And that's usually where the conversation ends. Except one morning, I was laying in bed and I first started looking at how much it would cost to go to Paris. AJ and I were originally supposed to go to Paris. Some things happened. We ended up doing the 10-night cruise to Hawaii. I'll link that playlist down below. That was an amazing trip. So I was thinking, you know, we should rebook Paris. And the redemptions for Paris weren't great, and so I just started plugging in other places where we might want to go. And we actually were supposed to go to Tokyo February 27th, 2020. It was 2 days before we were supposed to leave. Japan announced that they were closing schools. At that point, we realized there's something bigger going on here. We probably shouldn't be in another country, so we canceled Japan. So I know I'm talking a lot about canceled trips here. But the good news is this one's happening. I looked up how much it would cost for us to fly to Tokyo. The redemption was main cabin on Delta to fly direct from LAX to Haneda. And at the time, I held Delta's Platinum status, which got you an automatic upgrade to Comfort Plus. So I decided, I woke AJ up and said, hey, I found this, I have enough miles. Should we book going to Japan? And it's totally refundable, so we thought, let's book it. If anything happens, we can cancel it and we'll get all of our miles back. What happened then is the plane, I always look at the seat configuration. It was a 2-4-2 configuration. So 2 seats on the side, 4 in the middle, 2 on the other side, and we were sitting in one of the 2 spots. That's handy information for what's to come later. So we kind of have gone on about through life knowing that we have this trip booked, just kind of keeping it in the back of our minds of if this happens, great. If it doesn't, it's okay. And probably about 4 months ago, we were really like, okay, it's happening. We are going to Japan. So we started planning at that point. And there's an element of planning Japan felt very overwhelming, and also planning Japan has been very simple. Let me explain both pieces. So there's many places to go in Japan. You hear a lot of people talk about Tokyo, you hear people taking the bullet train down to Osaka, Kyoto, Nara to visit the deer. There's a lot of things that you see online right now, and we were really struggling with figuring out what was the right fit for us and for our trip. We knew we were gonna go to Disney, and we knew we wanted to spend a lot of time at Disney. So we knew we wanted to be able to take our time, do it slow. I know a lot of people said you only need 2 days. We were taking a little more time than that. And because we want to film and take you along with us, there's a lot of things that we want to do there. So we knew we had a good chunk of time in our trip that we wanted to dedicate to Disney. The other part of the trip, we knew we wanted to explore parts of Tokyo, but then we started talking about, you know, bullet trains, where else we're gonna go. And at a point in the process, it felt like we were trying to squeeze so much in. The conversation started to be, well, we have 1 day here, so we could do this, and we might be able to squeeze 2 days in here. And so at that point, we decided to take a step back and just say, you know, there's a lot to see and do within Tokyo itself. Let's just dedicate this part of our trip to Tokyo. We'll dedicate the second part of our trip to Disney. And when we go back to Japan in the future, we can see other parts of the country. We decided we were gonna stay only in Tokyo, so I started to look at hotels. And then I looked at my points and just kind of figured out what hotel chain do I have enough points for to cover a stay? And it happened to be Marriott. So we are staying at a Marriott property for 4 nights. We had enough points to cover our stay, so that was fantastic, which also helped us stay at a little bit of a nicer hotel when we go to Disney. So that's kind of how we planned the basis of our trip. So what it is going to break down to is we are going to spend 4 nights in Tokyo, then we are going down to Tokyo Disneyland. We are doing a vacation package, that way we can see the brand new Fantasy Springs. I'll go into more details on that. And then we were staying at the Disneyland Hotel, which was part of my bucket list of this trip, and I'm super excited that we're able to do it. So while we're in Japan, we're going to go to all of the places that are, most of the things that you see online, the things you really see on TikTok these days. We're gonna go to Ginza, Shinjuku, Shibuya. Obviously, we have to go through the Shibuya Scramble Crossing. We're gonna go up to Tokyo Skytree. We're gonna go eat at the food outside of Asakusa and Sensoji Temple. There are just so many things that I am looking forward to and a lot of food that I'm really excited to eat. After we spend those 4 nights in Tokyo, we're gonna go down to Disney, and one of the things that we had to decide by a specific date was if we were gonna do a vacation package with Disney. And subscribe, because I'm gonna go into the vacation package after we do it, so you won't wanna miss that, especially if you're planning a trip to Disney. So we decided to do a 1-night vacation package. We're staying at the Miracosta Hotel, and it comes with the Fantasy Springs passport. This was an important piece for me for our trip, because right now Fantasy Springs is a new land in Tokyo Disney Sea that you cannot get access to unless you have a Fantasy Springs passport, which you can get in a vacation package or staying at the Fantasy Springs Hotel, or you have to get a Disney Premier access, which if you are local to the parks here, it's kind of like a paid lightning lane. And if you don't have those things or a standby pass, you can't get inside. And I thought, I don't want to go all the way to Tokyo Disney Sea and chance my ability of getting inside on the quality of my cell phone service and Wi-Fi and getting any of those passes. So we will have the Fantasy Springs passport, which means we'll be able to go on the attractions that are in that land as many times as we want and go in and out of the land whenever we want on that one day. So really excited about that, and then spending 4 more days at the parks. So that is kind of the itinerary of the trip, and we have done a bunch of work in preparation. I would say the one thing we have done the most is watch a lot of YouTube videos. So just kind of hearing reviews of what people are doing, things that people used when they traveled, really just things to help get us excited for the trip. Some other things that we have started to do, I work from home and I do a lot of time sitting at this desk, and I started walking more. I started getting up in the morning, trying to hit at least 10,000 steps a day. Obviously tried for more because I know we're gonna walk a lot in Tokyo. Invested in some new sneakers, so we got that going on. And things that I started to do early in the process also was purchase merino wool items. Merino wool is antimicrobial and something that you see a lot from people who travel, because you can wear the items multiple times. They don't smell, they help keep you cool. And through the year, I would kind of buy a couple of pieces. That way I didn't have to wait all the way till it was time for our trip and do a huge order. I'll share all of that in our packing video, which will be the next video in the series. But that is something that I started to do in preparation. Another thing that I've been doing as our trip has been getting closer is keeping an eye on those seats on the airplane. And I'm in a few different Facebook groups, and I see people that will drop a line saying, I just found an upgrade to Delta One for $499. And I was really waiting for that day for me, that I could say that I got a Delta One upgrade for next to nothing, because these seats are not cheap. The days, they have come and they have started to go, and there is not any of those cheap upgrades coming my way. However, one thing that did happen is our airplane changed. So that is one of the downsides of booking the trip so early, is you are booking a trip not knowing if this plane is going to be exactly the same or if the times are going to be exactly the same. Our times did shift a little bit, but I think it was only about 20 minutes here or there, nothing major. But the plane shifted a lot. So like I had said before, those seats that we had been in, we were sitting 2 together in Comfort Plus, it switched to 3. And I just thought, it is a 12-hour flight, and I can't imagine someone sitting between myself and AJ, or AJ sitting in a middle seat. And I'm a window seat gal. I know some of you might think, why don't you both sit in the aisle? I'm gonna sit in the window seat. That's just my thing. AJ likes an aisle. So I started keeping my eye out for upgrades. Obviously I wanted the Delta One. don't we all? But I also started to look at the Premium Select upgrades. And so that is that step in between Comfort Plus and Delta One. So you don't get a lay down, but you do get more space. And that configuration is a 2-seater on each side. The seats are a little bit bigger. You get to recline a little bit more. You'll get a bigger TV. Your meal service is upgraded in some way. Like, there's all these things, which we'll share with you when we get on the plane. So I started to watch how much those upgrades would be. And I think that I found a couple pretty good redemptions for us. So we are actually sitting Premium Select now for all of our flights. And I'm really excited about that. We have some extra space. We're sitting bulkhead on the way there, so we'll have some extra leg room. But I think from a amount of time that we're gonna be on a plane and comfort, that it was the right call for us. So I am really excited about that. Like I said, we're gonna film all of that stuff for you. So we'll share if we thought it was worth it, because I did redeem a fair amount of points for all of that. But I wanted to share with you guys kind of what is coming up, what you'll be able to expect, and the things that you will see from us in the next coming weeks. If you would like to see our adventures and our travels in a more real-time situation, make sure to follow us on Instagram. I'll put our links right here, and we'll kind of be sharing as we go. We're really looking forward to a big international trip. It's another long trip, which is nice. Please like this video, give it a good thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel so you can check out all of our future videos of Japan, Disney, and all of the things to come. One last thing, something that changed since we originally booked our trip. We have decided, instead of going from Tokyo back to LAX, we are gonna go through Honolulu and spend one night before coming back home. It just so happened, I thought, Hawaii's on the way. So I looked up and there was a room at Aulani available on DVC. So we are going to come home through Aulani. We'll have one more 24-hour in Aulani video because that seems to be our trend. It makes me really excited to know that we're going to Tokyo, we're going to Disney, then we're going to Aulani, and then we'll come home and I'll be really depressed and I'll need to plan another trip. So that is what is to come. Thank you so much for watching. Leave some comments down below if there's some things that you want us to check out, if you have any questions about our process. And if you would like to follow along on our adventures in a more real-time manner, make sure to follow us on Instagram, and we'll see you guys in the next one.